Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from an email that we received, and the email reads like this. Hello my brother, how are you? Can you please post my own story? My story goes on like this. When I was growing up, whilst we were playing in the village as boys, you know that we used to play like those monkey games. Whilst we were playing like that, that was when one day I fell from the tree. And when I fell from the tree, I think that I ended up damaging my private parts. But as a young boy, I didn't know that this was going to affect me in the future. So when I was a little bit mature, when we started dating girls, what surprised me is that my friends, when they would come back to report to us, because this is what we used to do as boys, whilst you be dating your girl, whatever you would have done with your girl, even if it meant touching her or just holding her, then you will need to come back and report to the gang and tell them that this is what happened between you and your girlfriend. So my boys, what they would do is that they would come back and they would say that whenever they will be with their girlfriends, like when they will be kissing, then their private parts, like the manhood, will start getting erect. But as for me, there was nothing, my brother. I would feel nothing, and my manhood will not even participate. It will be like I'll be kissing another boy. It was really disgusting for me. So I kept on keeping this secret from my boys. I would lie. Then it came time when we said that we all had to lose our virginity and we all had to sleep with our girlfriends. But as for me, when I tried, my brother, nothing happened, because when I tried sleeping with her, my man would not work or even do anything. This started giving me a lot of sleepless nights. After that, my guys, they started making girls to fall pregnant. But as for me, there was nothing. I would not have any wet dreams, or when I would try to sleep with any woman, then nothing would happen. There was no ejaculation, there was nothing, until I was all grown up. Then I started to see that my manhood was not working at all. I was suffering from that disease that is called erectile dysfunction disorder. I tried to go around visiting a lot of clinics, but it was not working at all. I then spoke with this other guy. He was like my friend that I had met on Facebook. So since he didn't know me at all, I then told him and I said, my guy, I am facing this problem. I can't even date anyone, because what can I give a woman? Money is not enough. Sometimes you need to be in bed with a woman, but I cannot do that because I am ashamed of myself. And my manhood at that time, it seemed as if it was growing smaller and smaller by the day, instead of it increasing by the day. This thing, it was giving me a lot of sleepless nights. That guy then said that, why don't you try to buy some stuff so that it can help me? I tried each and every medication. It doesn't matter if it is Western medication or if it is African medication. There was this other guy who even told me that if you try to drink mpesu, you will show your woman hell on earth. But that didn't work on me. My manhood would never participate whenever I'll be with a woman. After that, my brother, I then joined this other Telegram group. Whilst I had joined that Telegram group, that was when this other guy convinced me to buy this other pump whereby you place it on your manhood, then it will start pumping and pumping. But this was like the worst decision that I had ever taken, because instead of that thing making my manhood to grow big, it started getting smaller, even smaller. It even reached a point whereby it was smaller than my thumb, and when I even urinate, it was really difficult for me to do it. I then said, let me try these traditional healers once again. Then I approached this other traditional healer and I told him my story. This man, he was coming from outside of the country. He was from Zim, to be specific. I do not remember the name of that fruit anymore, before I had done this, I think that my life was a little bit better because I was not experiencing any spiritual attacks. It was only after I had sought assistance from that man who was from Zim that was when I started to get all of those spiritual attacks that I am now suffering from. What happened at that time, my brother? The man who was staying in our location said that this was an easy thing. He could assist me. He even claimed to have been registered back home in his country. He said that he is registered as a traditional healer. If this thing was not going to work, he was bound by law to return back my money. But my money just went, and I even took some evil spirits from him. That man then said that I was supposed to give him money for the bus ticket so that he can go back home, because he was supposed to bring back this other fruit that we were supposed to use. So this fruit, my brother, when he brought it back here to South Africa, he then said that I had to insert my manhood inside that fruit, and after I had inserted my manhood inside that fruit, I had to go and throw it by the sea. So I had to travel from my province. Then I went and I threw that fruit that he had taken from Zim into the ocean. And after that, I think that my manhood, it only worked. I don't know if it was my mind or what, because one day I hired a prostitute, and I can say that on that night I was able to perform like a normal man. So I don't know if it was my mind or if it worked just for a little while. After that, I then saw that it was no longer working at all. But when it stopped working like completely, this was after I started to see some discharge that was really smelly that was coming out of my manhood. I thought that maybe I had been infected by that prostitute that I had slept with, but no, my brother. After I had drank a lot of herbs, because that man, he came and prepared me some herbs that were so bitter to drink, and after that he said that he had cured me. But my brother, those discharge kept on coming out of my manhood. Then completely my manhood stopped working. And I can say that the day that my manhood stopped working, I was at work on that day. So I felt so tired. And this tiredness that I was feeling on that day, it was not natural at all. Then when it was my lunch break, I then locked my office door. I do not do this, my brother. My office is always locked at all the times. But on that day, it was like there was something that forced me to lock my office door. I ended up locking my door, and when I went back, and as I was sitting on my office chair, then I started to have a dream. There was a woman who entered into the office. Then that woman started doing things to me that were not normal at all. I was sleeping with a spirit, and this thing, it was happening in broad daylight. My brother, this was not a dream at all, because when I woke up, I saw that my trousers and my underwear, it was down to my knees. I don't know how this happened, because when I woke up, I saw that I was naked, and for the first time in my life, I managed to see my own semen. So after this thing had happened, I was happy and I was scared at the same time, because I was happy that for the first time I could see my own semen, which meant that maybe I was able to give birth. But I was scared because I had just slept with a spirit. I don't know if this was a ghost or a demon. So this thing kept on happening over and over again. When I tried to speak with that man, since he was working in the construction company, they were building this other clinic in another province. He said that we were going to sort out everything the next time around, that he will be back home, and he never came back again. His numbers, they just stopped working. And the guys who are from Zim, when I tried to ask them if they can give me his new numbers, they kept on saying that his phone was stolen and he does not have a number that is working anymore. That is the last that I heard of him. This thing, my brother, it keeps on happening to me. Now it is even worse, because sometimes I can even wake up, and when I wake up, I will see that I will be walking. But when I will be walking in the middle of the night, I cannot even control myself. If I meet someone on the street, it will be like I will be a spirit, because that person, if I try to greet that person, the person will not even see me or hear me. The next thing that will happen is that I would enter into the house of a woman, or maybe a woman that I would have lusted after during the daytime. Then that woman open for me, and I would start sleeping with that woman. This thing, my brother, it happens to me, and I cannot control this thing that is happening to me. Physically, my manhood cannot work, but spiritually, my manhood, it does work. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by our brother. He sent it via our email. I think that the tree or the fruit that he is talking about, it is called the sausage tree. I think so. Strange thing do happen in this world.